The Barber Life of Young Blade. When I was young, I grew up without my father. Because of this, I was lacking a lot of confidence. I feel that it starts early with the confidence process. Through all the trials and tribulations in life, never let anyone steal your passion for what you love and want out of life. Only your Creator has the final say-so. But through everything we go through as human beings, know that everything is science, and only thing that holds us back is ourselves. I want to thank my lovely wife for the support she gives me on a daily basis. I want to thank my grandma for the infinity-type support that she gives. I want to thank my mother for purchasing my first pair of clippers on Christmas. I also want to thank my stepfather James Fortune for teaching me how to be a man in this world and not giving up on me. I also want to thank my Creator for making me who I am today. My job is to help young people by explaining what it takes to stay motivated in this world that is geared to make the weak stay on the bottom. I feel that a lot of young black men and women are lost due to the lack of resources. I believe that my path as a barber will enlighten the mind of all races. Since the age of 8 years old, I knew God had given me an unbelievable talent. Back when I was in elementary, my hair was always in need of a haircut because my mother was a single mom and didn't have enough money to keep me and my brother's haircut. For some odd reason, I took a pair of scissors and proceeded to cut my hair. At this time, I didn't realize the magnitude of what I just did. All I know is that it was a big patch of hair gone from the front of my hair. It was a long day after that because of the long wait and knowing that my mama wouldn't like this one bit. How am I going to explain this? Are the words I remember. When school let out, it was a long walk back home. When I got to the house and stepped through the door, first thing my mama said was, "Boy, what the hell you do to your hair?" Just like I thought. Mama didn't like it one bit. So Mama went and got the belt. Usually she told us to go get the strap, but this time she wasn't playing. I must have really messed up. That's what I was thinking back then. If Mama only knew the path God was sending me on, I don't think I would have received that whooping. Not knowing what was in store for my future, I took the beating like a champ. 4 years later, at the age of 14 on Christmas, my mother surprised me and bought me my first pair of clippers. See how our Creator works? From this point on, I was motivated to learn how to cut hair. And I needed someone to let me practice on them. So I got my cousin to be the first person to let me practice on them. So we went into the restroom of my house using the toilet as the barber chair, one pair of clippers, and a comb. The first cut wasn't so pretty, but I managed to make it look decent. After my first haircut, my brother I started to cut each other's hair for practice. Before I know it, friends started asking me to cut their hair. By this time, me and brother have went from terrible haircuts to good haircuts. Once I learned how to blend out the line and even out the fade, people noticed and gave me a chance to practice on them. After practicing on my own hair and cutting for free, plus getting my skills up, the need for money increased due to the fact my mother was a single mother taking care of 3 kids on her own. My mother never made excuses about why we didn't have a lot of money. All she did was make sure we had what we need. I really believe that I get my work ethic from my mama. Never once have I seen her back down. She always shows toughness and grit. At the age of 15, I got my first job at Worlds of Fun. I was able to meet new people from around the world, which I believe helped me with my communication skills as a barber. By working at Worlds of Fun, I was able to save up $500 to buy my first car. This would be the car that helped me start my career in barbering. The Mobile Barber is the name I gave myself. It sounded catchy and it fits. My first thought was to get some business cards with the name Mobile Barber on it. Back then they called this tactic bootlegging. I called it work and my hustle. When you're poor and struggling, don't let anyone hold you back. By the age of 16, I was sent to Southwest High School. This would be where I would start increasing my talents. The art teacher allowed me to cut hair after school hours to make extra money. Wasn't much, but looking back I see it was practice getting me ready for the future. A couple of years pass, and now it's time for graduation, and I've built a small following and people know I can cut hair. In 1993 I graduated from high school and wasn't decisive on going to college, or to continue cutting hair. My grades on school were average, and I didn't believe I would succeed in college, so I didn't apply, or even try to go to a conventional college. My passion was in the Clippers. If I would have known better I would have went to college for business, to understand the way the business works. By the age of 19 I felt that I was missing out on something. I started running the streets and lost focus of what my goal was. I started fighting, and staying out late and messing with girls, and of all things, I started smoking weed with friends. I was out of control and no one could tell me anything. Then on the 4th of July my life changed. This would be the day I received a gunshot in the rear end, and a bullet wound grazed over the heart. I had jumped in a fight to help a friend, and his sister. This situation had nothing to do with me, but I still jumped in. When the bullet hit me, I didn't feel it at the time. My mind reacted because my body had received injury. That day was one of the most terrifying days of my life. All I remember is friends and family standing around asking me not to fall asleep. I was feeling very drowsy. All I remember is entering the ambulance. But after that things went blank. I woke up going down the hospital hallway, and things were like a movie. The whole time I was in the hospital everyone came to see me, even my father I hadn't seen for years. My creator always sends me good people that show me love. The nurse I had just happened to live in my neighborhood River Park townhouses. See how God works? After getting out of the hospital I had it set in my mind to accomplish all goals and dreams and never let anything or anyone hold me back. At this point I felt I needed to make more money cutting hair and start getting paid for my skills which I've worked on as the mobile barber. The only way I could do this is to work in a barber shop. So I decided to enroll in barber school, with the motivation of my grandmother and other family members. This would change my thought process 360 degrees. When I started barber school I already had my skills up on fades and a crispy hairline. Now it was time to learn more about my craft. Everything was going fine until the day I got the big call from my mother. The call that no teenager wants to hear from their parent. My mother paged me and told me to get my things and get out of the house. I asked why, and the response I got was, "Why didn't you sweep up the hair in the basement?" Well, I couldn't believe this one bit. Early that day I had cut a friend's hair at my house, but had to rush to school, so I wouldn't be late. That's the reason I couldn't clean up the hair. With a puzzled look on my face, I said okay, not having a clue about what I was going to do after school. At this point you can call this homeless, at the age of 19. During this point in my life, God sent me people that would refuse to let me fall and always kept me motivated. People like my grandmother Minnie Washington and wife Vanetta Cheadle. During this time I didn't have a car and had to make the choice. Do I quit or stick with it? My choice was to get up and catch the metro over to Kansas City, Kansas, and continue to finish up the 1,500 hours needed to graduate. This would be a wise decision. Never give up on what you want in life. Always strive for the best and don't listen to the rest. By the age 21, after finishing up the 1,500 hours I proceeded to be the mobile barber. Shortly after that a client and friend referred to me that his mother owned a shop and would let me cut hair in her place of business. My first shop was on 43rd Street called Tattoo Nail Salon. This would be another life-changing event, and where I would meet a wonderful group of people. I continued to cut hair in this shop and also started a second job for more income. Back then I was driving school buses. By this time I've built a small family of 3. Money is not coming in the way I feel needed. So in the year 1999 I gave up driving school buses and went full-time as a barber in 2000. The first shop I worked at was a salon filled with women. This would be where I learned to understand women a little better. It was a challenge working with all women and me being the only man. But Mama raised a handsome young man, so I didn't have a problem with the ladies. This would be my customer service stage, by learning how to greet and meet new clients. It was an uphill battle, sitting and waiting for haircuts. But this is a process that all barbers need to witness in this barber game. From 2000 to 2004 I started working in a barber shop in the Bannister Mall called Fader's Barber Shop. The shop had 7 barbers and 2 stylists. The biggest shop in KC at the time. This is where I was able to build my clientele and work with other barbers. This experience was a major turn in my barber career because I got a chance to see my worth amongst other barbers and their talents. I also got a chance to learn from different individual people. This is one of the most important keys to success and wealth. In life we pick up skills that we have no idea what they will be used for. This is why you always search and continue to learn new talents. In 2004 Fader's closed its doors to the public. At this point I learned how to run a shop by watching the owners and paying close attention to people and my surroundings. Also knowing what they want out of their barber. I learned that clients don't like to wait long at all. Who would have known that when I took them scissors and cut a patch out of my hair, that I was going to become a master barber? To make a long story short, after Fader's closed I opened up my own barbershop called Young Blades Fades. I'm now a very well-known barber around Kansas City and have a strong following of wonderful people that constantly support me. When you have a dream and goal sent to you by your creator, don't hesitate to move forward and tackle it. Everyone has a talent. All you have to do is figure out what it is that motivates you to get up in the morning. Through all the trials and tribulations in life, never let anyone steal your passion for what you love and want out of life. Only your creator has the final say so. But through everything we go through as human beings, always know that everything is science. And only thing that holds us back is ourselves.